All right, y'all, it's your boy, the Fastest Saint, and today we are going to check out the pack. All right, so it's gonna be my current fleet of motorcycles and some cars. Let's take a look. All right, y'all, meet the pack. So we're gonna be doing something a little different today. I'm gonna show you guys my current collection of motorcycles. Nothing too much to brag about. Nothing too crazy, not too much to brag about, but I have these bikes here, -1, actually -2, but we're gonna go through each one and I'm gonna show you, special things about them and my purpose for having them. All right, so let's start off with the Duke. All right, so right here you have my 2023 KTM 390 Duke, aka Rocket. So for those who haven't been watching my videos, I name all of my vehicles after Marvel characters. So Rocket is the character from Guardians of the Galaxy. He's a little raccoon, and this is my little bike. So I use this bike mainly for my parking lot drills, so Moto Jitsu drills. I bought both of his books. I think he has a third one. Don't quote me on that, but I've been practicing with the first 2 volumes so far, and this is the bike I take to the parking lot. It's street legal, so I just ride to the parking lot, do my drills, come back. This way I don't have to tow anything, and I'm not getting in trouble with law enforcement. Cough, cough. But awesome things about this bike. So straight out the gate, I got some crash guards here to protect the engine because I know I'm going to be beating on this bike a little bit. I made my first modification day 1 when I picked it up. So you have this acro exhaust here. It's just a slip-on currently. As you can see, we still have this cat right here, and I'm gonna delete that at some point. But for now, it's serving its purpose, so no issues there. Other than that, I put some tech spec grips on here. Got some tech spec, say that 3 times fast. I got some tech spec grips on here. My quad lock, shout out to quad lock. Quad lock, if you're watching this, I got too many bikes and not enough quad locks. So if you are feeling generous, please send some my way, por favor. Fastest Saint right here. If you all are looking for fitness content, we got my other channel, the Fittest Saint. All right, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the Duke. Nothing too crazy. This bike is around almost 300 pounds, maybe right over 300 pounds. I'm not really sure. I'll check the manual later, but standard WP suspension in the front and rear. Couple of things I want to do to this bike for the future. I want to swap out the front forks, get Öhlins on the front and rear, so I can make this a track bike. So I want this to be my, entry-level track bike, one where I'm working on my skills, getting faster in my corners, things like that. That's going to be for this bike. So stay tuned for that build. If you all have any other recommendations for this build, just let me know, and we'll take it to the next bike. Next bike is going to be my S1000RR, all right, by BMW. This is my 2024. For you all that watched the last video that I posted, I bought the 2024 instead of the 2025, mainly because, 1, it was cheaper, financing deal was amazing, and there's not too much change from the 2024 to the 2025 other than the bodywork and that fast turn throttle. So things that I've done to this bike so far, I've done a bit since I bought it. I bought it in November. Currently it is the end of March, but first week after I bought it, I went ahead and purchased, as you can see, a full titanium Akrapovic exhaust. The muffler came standard on the bike, so this is the Akrapovic stock muffler made for BMW. Sounds pretty good at first with the stock header and mid-pipe. It was super quiet. It sounded like a purring kitten or a sewing machine. You can check out my previous video up here, and we went ahead and just got that mid-pipe and headers taken out. We left the muffler for now. If you all have any recommendations for the muffler, send them in the comments. But I'm thinking the GP Shorty by Akrapovic or an SC Project. I'm in between those two. If you have a third option, just let me know. All right. In addition to the exhaust, we went ahead and put the frame sliders on And we have the oil cooler guard and radiator guard underneath. I don't know if you can see that back there, but those were the first few mods. Went ahead and did some shopping, some late night shopping on DBK. Got my brake lever guard, pretty awesome, great quality. Had to get the red to match. Oh, I forgot to tell you all the name. Well, it's in my previous video, so if you're keeping up with your boy, you should know the name of this bike already. But it is Venom. All right, Venom from the Marvel characters. He is Spider-Man's nemesis in the comic books, but symbiote, you know, good movie. If you haven't checked out Venom Last Dance, awesome movie. We went ahead and did some cosmetic upgrades as well to this bike. So I was gonna either do this in matte black or this red. I went ahead with the red, but I also have the matte black as well. Let me know what you all prefer. Right now the red stands out pretty nicely. You know, this way, increased visibility, but not only that, a little bit of style with it. And if you can name where this Japanese kanji comes from and who it represents, let me know in the comments. I'm not going to say anything further, but let me know in the comments. Mad respect to whoever knows that. We went ahead and just like the KTM, we put some tech spec, I will never get this right, tech spec tank grips on here as well, because I do plan on taking this bike to the track also. And then lastly, just installed this. So I removed both the rear sets from each side, and we installed the selfie stick from Insta360 so we could get some cool footage for you guys. And then of course I got my Pitbull rear stand. Pitbull, if you're watching this, I still need a front stand, and as you can see, I got a couple of bikes. So if you're feeling generous, please send some my way. Promise to do a full review and everything because I love your product. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this bike. Other than that, engine components are stock. There's no tune on it yet, but that's coming, so don't worry. But if you have any other ideas for this bike, just let me know. Next, we are going to Loki, my 2024 R1300GS by BMW. As you can see, I tend to like my BMWs. I do have a Ducati. She is not here. She is at another location getting worked on, but I will put up a video of her in her current condition shortly, so stay tuned for that. But as you can see, we got the cool green with the gold, hence why I named it Loki. But this is the Tremontana green, all right, with the 719 package. So I had this one made in Germany, and it was delivered about 2 months later. Got this bike in the summer. Pretty awesome bike. Got the BMW brakes on the bottom, made by Brembo. That's another thing I meant to note with the S1000. So the front brakes on the S1000 are Nissan. Don't know why, but they stop pretty well, so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, front brakes here are made by Brembo, and I also believe the rear brakes are made by Brembo for the R1300GS. We got the automatic windscreen on the front. Works very well. When you start up the bike, get it about, 5 miles an hour, the windscreen goes up, stays up, and then once you turn off the bike, when you're done riding, it goes back down automatically. This also has adjustable ride height. It automatically increases the height. I have it set to that because I am 6'3", about 215, and it automatically raises itself. So I can flat foot this bike pretty well, but it gives you more road clearance once you start moving. Awesome feature. One of the first purchases I made were the crash guards here, and I also just purchased the upper crash guards. I still have to install those, so stay tuned for that video, but that protects the engine, keeps it safe, because I knew I was going to be riding this pretty rough. But this is my long distance bike. All right, so this is the bike I plan on doing a cross-country trip on. I plan on doing a couple of track days with this bike as well. I heard these bikes are like scalpels on the track, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, I need something that I can ride for longer than 30 minutes without feeling too uncomfortable. But yeah, let's swing around the back. Check this out. So this bike I ordered with the sport silencer by Akrapovic, also made by BMW. We have the side bags in the garage, But the first bag I got was the top case, and this was mainly because of my girlfriend. I knew she was going to be taking long rides with me, so we went ahead and got the top case first with the back pad, and comes with awesome heated seat that we had as one of the options as well. So not only my seat is heated, but the rear seat is heated for the lady. Got the heated grips, got the quad lock on here. This was actually purchased for a bicycle, but it managed to work on this handlebar, so shout out to Quad Lock again. That's only 2 of my 10 bikes. Just kidding, I don't have 10 bikes. I actually don't know how many I have. I think I have 5. But yeah, I'd like to get some more of these. So shout out to Quad Lock. But yeah, heated grips. Got this center display here. Went ahead and put a cover on that. Still need to get a Garmin GPS for the front. But that'll be a future purchase. I'll go ahead and power this bad boy on. If it registers my key. There we go. Make life a ride. Yeah, go ahead and check out that display. Awesome. Awesome display. But yeah, we'll power this off. I'll give you guys a startup of each of the bikes once we're done with the review. But yeah, things to come for this bike. I'm thinking about getting a headlight guard, because to replace that headlight from any rock chips or anything like that is expensive. But yeah, headlight guard. Again, I have the upper crash bars that I need to install. I'm going to install those shortly. And then we have some radiator guards that we're going to install as well. I may end up getting some guards for the headlights. The floodlights, sorry. The accessory lights, or whatever they call it. I don't know. But yeah, those are coming. And when these tires are up, I need a new option for tires. These tires are a little noisy. These are the, I believe these are the Anakis. I want to say they're Michelin Anakis. So they're a little noisy. So think of like an all-terrain tire on a truck. So whenever you get in that lean on this bike, you start to hear it. You know, it makes a little bit of noise. So I need a new tire recommendation for this bike once these tires are up. So go ahead and drop that in the comments as well. All right, that's it for Loki. And then we're going to move over to the next bike. But first, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, go ahead, like, subscribe. There's going to be a ton more footage just like this, and there's more to come. Each of these bikes are going to get built to their capacity, so I'm excited to show you all what that's going to look like later on. All right, time for the next bike. All right, so this is the last bike in this current location, and this is my 2024 Yamaha TTR 125 LE, baby. Shout out to Fastlane D. So I was watching a Fastlane D video one day, and you know, he talked about how you need to, you know, hone on the skills on the smaller bikes before you move up to the bigger bikes and try to get wild. So I firmly believe in that, hence why I've got that 390 Duke over there. And I got this bike because I wanted to do some track days with something smaller. So not on the bigger scheme like with the 390 Duke, not on a racetrack, you know, like Summit Point or VIR in Virginia, but I got this to do more track days on go-kart tracks. So they have what they call mini moto, and I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with that. This is my mini moto build bike. So I bought a stock Yamaha 2024 Yamaha TTR 125, and I sent it over to Rob at the service pavilion in Pennsylvania, and he went ahead and stripped this bike down, gave me new wheels, revalved my shocks, got the forks revalved, sport suspension in the rear, upgraded seat with texture so I'm not sliding around all over the place. I got a new shifter, as you can see on this side, and let's see if we could get an image of that rear shock. So you see that rear shock back there, and we got some bark busters on the front. So I actually don't know how to pronounce these, but they've already served their purpose, as you can see right here. Funny story, we were working on some race starts and I went full send and the bike just looped, definitely looped. I didn't think this thing could wheelie, so it can. For everybody that needs to know, who didn't believe, 125s can wheelie with a 200 plus pound person on there. But I also want to practice wheelies. I want to learn how to do wheelies. I want to learn properly. So I figured I'd start small and work my way up to the bigger bikes. It's safer that way. But yeah, this is my mini moto build, and we've had a couple of track days already, and I've learned a ton so far. So I'm working on my body positioning. I've been working on selecting the proper gear so far, and those mini moto tracks, those go-kart tracks, are super small and also super technical. So you can take what you learn here and take it on a bigger bike. Just know the only thing that really changes is going to be your weight of the bike and the speed, of course. The danger, not as dangerous, but you can still get hurt doing mini moto, but it's better to learn on a smaller bike before you move up to the bigger bikes. All right, 633, baby. If you know, you know. All right, so lastly, we're going to move to one of my four-wheeled vehicles, and that's going to be the Hulk back there. All right, y'all, so this is the Hulk. This is the final vehicle that we're going to see in the video, but this is my 2020 Bullitt Mustang. All right, so you may not see any badges here, but the coolest thing about the Bullitt is it started back in, I believe it was a 1968 Mustang Fastback that was painted in this Highland green in the movie Bullitt. Steve McQueen was the main character. He was racing against a Dodge Charger, I believe, in the streets of San Francisco, and this was the hero car. All right, so they made one for the movie. Then you had a 2000 and I want to say it was a 2003, maybe, don't quote me on that, but then a 2008 for sure. And then they had the 2019, and then they made one for the following year, the 2020. So this was my COVID purchase, you know, when they were running crazy deals on the car. So I got a stupid good deal on this car, and this was my dream car. I mean, the 1968 is the GOAT, of course. You know, I want one of those at the end of the day, but this was the next best, and this was the model year that I wanted. But as you can see the Brembos peeking through, red calipers in the front. Nothing has been done to this car other than some tint. So a supercharger is coming in the future, and for all of you that have, you know, sport cars, let me know what I can do to this. All right, can we flash the ECU on this? You know, get a tune? I'm not sure. But it also has an active exhaust that's pretty sweet. I'll do a whole video on this, but amazing car. The active exhaust is insane. But yeah, this is my 2020 Bullitt Mustang. Can't really say how fast I've taken this. Probably not as fast as I can take it, because it's not, you know, it's fully stock. But fully stock, it comes with 480 horsepower. Cool thing about these, when they were made, so they didn't want it to be the same as a GT. So the GT has the 5.0 engine, but makes more horsepower because the intake on this car actually comes from the GT 350. All right, so pretty sweet. But as you can see, no badges except for the rear, which says Bullitt, baby. Yeah, check it out. Got the silver accents, black rims, all of that comes stock on here. And then check out the front. No horse. All right. But yeah, those are the vehicles, baby. So that's the pack. And there are going to be more to come. So stay tuned for that. But thank you all for joining me for this video. We're going to wrap this up here. I'm sorry, y'all. I stay doing this. My bad. I forgot to give you some startups. So we don't have the keys to the Mustang, but we have the keys to pretty much everything else. Yeah, so let's do this. All right, so we'll start off with the KTM. She's got a little thumper. And next we'll go over to the Beamer. We got Venom. Let's go. All right, y'all ready for this one? Sheesh. So violent. My gosh. All right, now we got Loki. So I got the key in my pocket because this is keyless. Let's see if she works right away. There we go. All right, be nice. There we go. Subtle, nothing too crazy. Oh, can't forget to turn her off. There we go. My boy. I don't know if this one's gonna start up right away. It's got a choke on it. Let's see. We'll give it a shot. Come on, stay up there. Stay up there. There we go. Oh, look at that. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I also need a name for this, so put that in the comments as well. We need a Marvel character for this one. Oh, let's hit the button. There we go. All right. And I lied. I found the key. So we're going to start up the Mustang. Got that keyless. Ooh-wee. Let's go. All right. Let's see what we got. And you know your boy had to get the standard shift. That comes standard on here, but I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, see the horse and the Bullitt. Let's get it. Woo! Let's go. Heck yeah. And you see we got the full digital display. Of course, I put the green on the gauges. But yeah, y'all. Now I'm done. All right, fastest Saint. I'll catch y'all later. Peace. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow your boy. On Instagram, you can find me at the Fastest Saint as well. And just stay tuned for more. Let me know in the comments what we should do to each of these. Any of these bikes, I'm looking to build all of them. And any recommendations, I'll take them. But yeah, baby, I'll see y'all later. This is the Fastest Saint. Peace.